Deep within the Amazon rainforest is a tribe made of only one remaining member, a single man referred to as the most isolated man on the planet, the lone Brazilian. Officials have known of the man for over 20 years, first hearing about him in 1996 when rumors began of a wild man who had been spotted by loggers. Attempting to then find him, one of his small homes was eventually found with a mysterious hole dug in the center nearly 5 feet deep. A further search revealed multiple more homes, even finding tools left behind by the man. It was soon realized that the man was on the run, abandoning his homes and moving from shelter to shelter, leaving at the sight of researchers as well as loggers. This would prove to make actually encountering the man extremely difficult, and it would take countless attempts before he was finally found. This would begin a pattern of tense standoffs with the man. Described as being unclothed, always armed, and always ready for confrontation, even shooting one man in the chest, his story, his name, and why he was alone remained a mystery. Eventually though, bulldozed ruins of a small village nearby were discovered with homes built in the exact same way that this man was building his, always with a 5-foot hole in the center. It was deemed that his tribe had been killed off by illegal loggers and that his village had been destroyed in early 1996. This incredible footage from 2009 shows a glimpse into the man's world. While unbeknownst to him, he has been granted 31 square miles of land by the government that belongs solely to him, land that loggers are not legally allowed to touch. He has been able to grow crops around his small huts such as corn and bananas, and eats a diet that mainly consists of wild game caught with traps or hunted by bow and arrow. Indigenous experts believe that the man has continued to maintain a spiritual life rooted in the beliefs of his former tribe. The way that this man has survived alone for decades is simply incredible. He is the last person in the world who retains the customs, traditions, and language of his people. Estimated to have been living on this small North Sentinel island in between India and Malaysia for over 60,000 years are the Sentinelese people. While it has been extremely difficult to determine, it is seemingly a fairly large tribe of about 50 to upwards of 400 people. Incredibly, they are believed to be direct descendants of the very first humans to emerge from Africa. This tribe has remained so isolated from the outside world that they have no concept of growing crops, continuing to rely solely on a hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Maybe more incredible is that this tribe has yet to discover how to recreate fire. While nearly everything about these people has remained unknown, most of what we do know is thanks to an effort to establish contact numerous times during the late 1960s. Though little was achieved, a team was able to leave coconuts and live pigs on the beaches as a gift. Watching from a boat offshore, the tribe was seen viciously killing the pigs with arrows and then burying them in the sand. This hostility towards visitors has remained, as any attempts to make contact with the group since have all ended in a similar fashion, being bombarded with arrows. This is also the case for those flying over, as a known reaction is rocks and arrows being launched at low overflying planes as well as helicopters. Another example of how this group does not want any outside contact came with National Geographic, who in an attempt to learn more about the tribe was forced to back off the shores when they were showered with arrows, resulting in one man being shot in the leg and 2 others being killed. It doesn't matter how you arrive, if you arrive on accident or if you bring gifts, the tribe will greet you the same. In 2006, 2 fishermen on a boat fell asleep and washed up on the shores of the island. Unbeknownst to them, they were about to meet their end as they were attacked and slaughtered by the tribe. Due to the numerous hostile encounters, India has given up all efforts to contact the tribe and has now made it illegal to come within 3 miles of the island. We will likely never know much about this extremely isolated tribe. The Moscow Pierrot are one of the last nomadic hunter-gatherer tribes in the world, living in the jungles of Peru and have inhabited a remote region of the Amazon rainforest for over 600 years. Despite this, however, sadly, in 1894, during what was likely the first ever outside encounter the tribe ever had, much of the Moscow Pierrot tribe was slaughtered by the army of Carlos Fitzgerald. Since this deadly encounter, the tribe has completely isolated themselves and have been known to reject all outside contact. However, this has seemingly begun to change as they have been increasingly coming out of their jungle homes and building new homes on riverbanks in recent years. This has led to an increase in unplanned encounters with the tribe, both by locals but also with tourists. While this has made for incredible footage, this behavior is uncharacteristic of their past, and Peruvian officials believe the tribe may be facing trouble. Unfortunately, an increasingly common threat to the Moscow Pierrot and other tribes in the area is illegal logging companies searching for and murdering these people to gain access to their land. From 2003 to 2010 alone, it is believed that over 450 tribespeople were murdered, often in extremely vile ways, as to send a message to those within the jungles. Whether or not this is the case for the Moscow Pierrot remains unknown. Footage like this has captured the tribe on film for the first time in centuries, but interactions like this aren't always peaceful. The group has attacked and even killed using primitive bow and arrows that they are believed to have been using for hundreds of years. In 2011, men from the Moscow Pierrot tribe shot a park ranger in the leg with an arrow and killed a young boy. Then again in May of 2015, the tribe ransacked a small village, killing a young man again. These killings from the tribe have caused anger and fear among locals who believe that the Moscow Pierrot aren't in danger, but rather have become aware that the villagers are vulnerable and are taking advantage. While it is unknown if this is the case and whether they are thriving or not, the government of Peru, in an effort to calm tensions, believes that the tribe is in need of help and has plans to approach the tribe in order to reach an agreement. These are the Surma people, who live in a remote corner of southwestern Ethiopia, an area referred to locals as the end of the world. The Surma tribe is quite large, at nearly 2,500 people, all of which have completely avoided our modern world, still practicing their traditional way of life, though contact has been made. In 1980, while on an anti-polio campaign, a few Russian doctors made the first ever contact with the Surma. This was the first time they had ever encountered white people, and those within the tribe who still remember the day claimed children ran away from the village in fear of the white Russian men, believing that they were walking dead men. Remarkably, it is believed that if not for those Russian doctors making contact with the tribe and providing them with the medicine they needed, to date, the Surma people would have been extinct. Quite incredibly, this tribe lived for centuries in complete solidarity, all the while colonization, world wars, and struggle of independence were going on all around them. Today though, they do face a threat. Their land, close to the border of Sudan, is this 45 square kilometer territory named Surma land. This is their home and they live to protect it. While the group has survived for likely thousands of years without ever being contacted or even knowing of outside people, the last 20 years have brought on a great threat of being attacked and even losing their territory to neighboring groups. Unlike the Surma people, these groups have more so adapted to a modern life and have far superior weapons. Due to this, the one adaptation of life for the Surma people of today is that they have traded in their traditional weapon of choice, a wooden stick referred to as a donga, for guns. This adaptation to the outside world was made with the arrival of the AK-47 rifle. Despite this change, however, the Surma people have continued to use the traditional donga stick if conflicts should ever arise within the tribe. To resolve these conflicts, men must fight with the donga, and if one should kill the other, a female from the opponent's side of the family is given as compensation to the victor. In 1959, in the midst of the Vietnam War, over 100 naked tribesmen were found living in the mountains of Phong Nha Kebang. How they were discovered is truly amazing. After US troops bombed this region heavily, Vietnamese soldiers surveying the area were shocked when unsuspecting soldiers came across a scene of naked tribesmen retreating into the hills, climbing trees and running into caves to hide. This was the first contact with a tribe that had no name for themselves and therefore was referred to by soldiers as the Rook, translating roughly to cavemen. Since this time, the Rook tribe in Vietnam have remained one of the most isolated tribes in the world, and incredibly, until this encounter only about 60 years ago, their existence is thought to have been entirely unknown by the outside world. Sadly though, the Vietnamese government, rather than leaving the tribe alone, has attempted to remove the tribe from their caves into homes with more modern farming equipment and tools, believing that teaching them a modern lifestyle is best. This of course includes wearing clothing, seemingly one of the only modern characteristics about the tribe today. Aside from clothing though, things went very different when the tribe clashed with modern life and in large part went their separate ways, continuing to remain isolated and living with traditional values. Despite multiple attempts to relocate the tribe, the Vietnamese government have been largely unsuccessful. Practices of a mysterious witchcraft, their own cultural music, and their own hunter-gathering techniques have been passed down for centuries, continuing to remain even today. In most ways, this isolated tribe has somehow been able to cut themselves off and remain a mystery to the modern world. Many spend months hiding and living away in caves no one aside from the Root people even know of. An incredible system of caves that cover nearly 200,000 feet of ground, so complex it has remained unexplored even today. Even with this though, the strong persistence by the government to modernize the tribe, some elders admit, has cause for concern. Despite their numbers increasing to over 600 people as of late, elders fear that persuasion for younger generations to leave the tribe and join modern civilization may cause their values and the tribe itself to vanish entirely over time.